I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello and welcome back to Ask Rob and Rob. This is episode 12, rattling on with these now, and we've got another great question. That's exactly what we do every week. We answer questions that you provide. You send them in and we'll answer them. Simples. And this week, Mike has done just that. So before we listen to Mike and his wonderful question, Rob, how can others get their questions answered?
Couldn't be easier, Rob. All you have to do is call 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. You'll get a little voicemail prompt. You can just leave your message after the beep and we will get right back to you after some number of weeks. Or alternatively, go to thepropertyhub.net/podcast and you can leave us a message via your computer. Whichever way you prefer, just get your question to us and we will get it answered. So that is what we did for Mike. Let's hear what Mike had to ask.
Hi, Rob and Rob. It's Mike Davis here. Just wondered if you could recommend a good standard building contract for use for refurbishing or small repairs, kind of in the 5, 10, 15k level. I've seen a JCT one, but it's pretty weighty. So maybe you can recommend a good form that's usable there to help us nail that down, especially if you can get a soft copy of it. Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Now, Rob, we were chatting before we pressed record and we had a look at the answer from Mike, and I said, you know what, I'm going to default to you because, to be fair, you have had more refurb experience. So go on, share your wisdom.
Well, as Mike identified, he was talking about sort of their 5, 10k range. And that is a difficult kind of grey area because it's not the kind of major project where you definitely want to have everything locked down and specified to the nth degree. But it's also a not insignificant amount of money. I've struggled with that, with working that out in the past. There is a free contract that I've used. I don't know how it compares to the one you talked about, Mike, but I use one from the Federation of Master Builders, or have done in the past. We'll link to that in the show notes of this episode so you can take a look. It's all in plain English and it's quite clearly specified. So it does do the job. You might sometimes get resistance from smaller builders for signing a formal contract like this. I wouldn't say that was necessarily a warning sign. It could be, but often it's just not the way people are used to working. So it's worth remembering that anything that you agree is a contract. Obviously, if it's just verbal, then it's going to be difficult to hold them to anything. But what I've done in the past is just clearly specify everything in an email. So literally just have an email discussion, bullet everything out and say, reply to this if that's okay. Obviously, that's nowhere near as good as a proper contract, but I find that a lot of the time, it's not that anyone is out to rip you off. It's just that misunderstandings can very easily arise, and having things in writing prevents that misunderstanding right at the start. Another way of protecting yourself, either instead of or as well as using a contract, is to make sure that you're checking their work regularly, whether that's you or whether you're using some kind of third-party project manager. Because again, if you wait until the very end and then it's like, oh my God, that's not what I thought it was going to be at all, or the standard of the work is terrible, then obviously you're going to have to try to get them to sort it out at their own expense, which could be challenging. And that's the point at which you might need to go down the legal route. If after day one, you can see that it's not up to scratch or they've misinterpreted what you wanted, then it's going to be a lot easier to correct that. And hopefully the need for clause something, subpoint something else where you say what happens in that situation just won't be necessary. So it's a really good question. I think you'll have to take it case by case. Take a look at the contract that's linked in the show notes at thepropertyhub.net/property advice. And of course, where possible, if you can work with tradespeople who've come recommended, then it's no guarantee, but it should make you feel more confident that even if you can't get everything locked down in precise detail, that things will still turn out okay in the end.
And that's what I love about this podcast. This is probably a topic we wouldn't have covered on the property podcast because it is, to be fair, quite a niche question. The fact we can answer it on this podcast and give value back is why we love doing it, and it's a really interesting project for us to do. As Rob said, make sure you go to thepropertyhub.net/property advice to find out more. But if you want to really deep dive in different topics with us over a whole day, then you could do that too. The Property Hub Summit, we run 4 times a year. It's only a group of 16 each time, so it's a really tight select group. We work on you and your unique position and give you a unique plan. It's not here's a generic plan that'll fit you, and then that's the same for every member of the group that joins us. We go round and we give people specific action points and takeaways and a real strategy to go forward with. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. It's really simple to find out more. You could go to the Property Hub and check it out, or you can grab your phone now, text Summit, leave a space, and then your email. So text Summit, leave a space, type your email, and text it to 88802. That's 88802. That's Summit, space, your email, and then we'll send you some details.
So that's another Tuesday, another question answered. Thursday is on the horizon though, and of course that means another property podcast. So we will see you then, but for now, thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.